welcome. You're watching Your Trades on ET now with me, Snehi Shah, and with me, as always, is Priyanka Opal. And Priyanka, well, what a day of trade we've seen finally. After all of these trading sessions, we've finally seen green on the screen today. And how? Because take a look at what Nifty has done in today's trading session, crossing the 25,000 mark after a lot of days and coming back to those levels. In fact, getting there on its course to recovery is when Nifty 50 ending the day with an uptick of almost 0.5%. Sensex was largely in tandem today. Nifty Bank has also done pretty well for itself in today's trading session. 0.3% uptick coming over there. India Wix has fallen by a further 6%, so that also solidifies the moves that we've seen in the market. Advance decline ratio steeply in favor of the advances today, so that was very positive to see on the Indian markets. But the real support today, after a very long time, has come in from the broader markets, because if you take a look at what Nifty mid cap and small cap have done, both of these indices have closed north of 1% each respectively. So very strong support coming in from Nifty small cap and mid cap indices. The broader markets also very good today. In fact, sectorally, you have media, IT, pharma, metal, energy, all the sectors in today's trade in fact have ended in the green, led by media, IT. PSU banks slightly lagging behind, but in the green nonetheless. A 0.4% uptick coming in. Oh, pardon me, that slipped into the red, and a slight nominal fall coming in on the PSU bank counter as well. But moving on to some other news flow, and you had the brokerage note on IT, which is why IT was one of the top gainers in today's trading session as well, from Nomura coming in, wherein they have cheered the IT pack and gone ahead, raised the target prices, upgraded their ratings on all of the stocks, in the most of the stocks, at least in the IT pack, the likes of Coforge, TCS, HCL Tech. Those stocks have done pretty well in today's trading session as well. Also, Tata Motors was a stock in focus, but ended the trading session slightly on a tempered note, because they've cut the prices of their EV models by up to 3 lakh rupees. So that was another news maker today. And well, obviously, Priyanka, AMFI data and SIP, the big talking point today.
Absolutely. In fact, you know, once again, it's proved that the gush of domestic liquidity, which is driving the index, the markets higher, because again, the data, for first time ever, the data crosses 23,500 lakh crore, 23,500 crore SIP flows come in every month, and the major of the funds coming in, the flows coming in, thematic funds, of course, aided by a lot of new fund offerings which came in last 4 months, and that's what 80,000 crore of inflows just in thematic funds only. So SIP data, of course, MFI data was very encouraging, and of course the way you spoke about the Tata Motors, which took cuts, and it's like a massive cuts in the price of electric vehicle portfolios, with Tata Tiago around about 40,000 punch, around about 1.2 lakh, and even up to 3 lakhs on your Tata Nexon. Last story, but then that was also the stocks which gained the top spots was from pharma space, because the entire pharma space was in focus, because the US House passes a biosecure bill. Now, what do this bill talks about? This bill makes US drug companies stop doing business with some Chinese companies, and experts believe that this move will help. In fact, it will give us a good impetus to non-Chinese CDMO players, and hence we saw that a lot of Indian companies, Indian drug makers were in focus today. In fact, top gainers on Nifty was one of the stock was Divi's Lab only, and a couple of the Divi on the pharma names were back in action today. But then clearly the mid cap and the small cap, these spaces outperformed the market today, and all sectoral moves, if you watch out for, all major sectors closed in green, barring the finance sector, PSU banks, especially. It was a FinNifty expiry also. But now let's get the pulse on the index by Shilpa Rout, what she has to say on the index here. Shilpa, are we out of the woods? The kind of move we saw yesterday, of course, it was a short covering triggered rally. Then today it was a good recovery backed by the macro cues. We've seen globally also markets recovered. What do you have to make out of? What exactly? Which is that level beyond which it will give you comfort or higher conviction of going on long? Or are you buying at this level also?
Good afternoon, Priyanka, and thank you for having me on the show. Talking about indices, the levels actually are very much intact right now. The close above 25,000 is a positive setup for the index. And if we sustain above 25,150, I believe that, more conviction will come in play, where 25,300 to 25,500 will be the next targets that we can look upon. Talking about Bank Nifty again, it is holding on quite well. It is not out of the woods yet, but yes, the accumulation is happening and it is quite strong now. If we sustain and keep holding above 50,500, then I believe eventually, not I don't see it happening quite soon, but eventually the targets of 53,000 will also come positionally. For a couple of days of trade, I believe, with a stop loss of 51,000, Bank Nifty can do 51,800 to 52,000 zones.
What are the levels to spot for from Shilpa on the Nifty and Nifty Bank? But Shilpa, amid a market like this, now that we have seen a slight bit of a run up, if you had to share your strategy on the stocks that you are picking out for our investors, would it be a buy on dip strategy, and what are the stocks that you are watching out for?
Yes, stock specific strategies are there, but today we saw that there was buying all around. However, since because it is a volatile market and we might not take a lot of risk, I believe Dabur can be a very good pick right now. It can be a safe haven as well. It has given a fresh pick out of a 650, and the stock is holding very strongly above that. So, any declines towards 650, one can definitely accumulate, keep a stop loss of 620, and the positional targets for Dabur from here could be around 720 to 750 as well. The other one would be a buy again from FMCG, UBL. UBL has shown a lot of strength from the past 1 week. We have seen a constant rise, and the stock, is actually on the verge of a strong breakout. Once above 2100, you will see the targets of 2200 coming as well. But right now, also there is good buying opportunity on any declines towards 2050. You can still buy and accumulate and look for targets of 2150 to 2200.
So two calls coming in, United Breweries and the other call is Dabur. Thanks very much, Shilpa, for sharing your views as well as your two recommendations for our viewers. Moving on, let's get you the word from the wise. And today we spoke to Nilesh Shah from Kotak AMC. And let's see what he has to come. He spoke about banks. In fact, he spoke about that there are many pockets of opportunity that are emerging across the sectors. And especially, will that be wise to take a call on the banking names? Let's listen into what exactly he had to say on this.
In the banking, valuations are reasonable, but there is uncertainty hanging over banking sector. One will be liquidity coverage ratio guideline. If RBI brings liquidity coverage ratio guideline in line with the consultation paper issued, then certainly there will be impact on banks' profitability, and that's not reflected into market prices at this point of time fully. The second thing is also the liquidity or the deposit competition going on among the banks. Clearly, we do believe interest rates will start coming down over a period of time. But will banks be able to cut deposit rate as fast as the interest rates comes down? So that's another challenge. Between these two, I think it's time to watch banking sector and then invest based on when clarity emerges on these two aspects.
Okay, that's the word coming in from Nilesh Shah. But on that note, we'll slip into a short break on this edition of Your Trades. But as we do that, we leave you with the chart of the day to look forward to on the AMFI and the SIP data that we saw today.
Welcome back. You're watching Your Trades, and now the action from the derivatives side. VIX did cool off significantly today. In fact, more than 6%, and that's what we saw. It was below 14 level. The trend on the Nifty and Bank Nifty both have changed overnight. In fact, Nifty, there's a short covering trend, and Bank Nifty, banks surprised positively today. There's a long built-up trend which we see on the Bank Nifty. VIX is around 13.3 now, and the calls which are active, the maximum, because we closed above 25,000. Now the action has shifted to the higher strikes like 25,100, 25,200 also. There was mild of call buying also. And the put writing, the support has now come to strikes like 24,900. So it looks like the trend has shifted, the trend has changed. We did recovered nicely yesterday, and now we've built on to a long built-up trend on both the indices.
Okay, well, that's everything that's been shaping up in the world of derivatives. But on that note, let's also take a look at the brokerage note that came in today that kept the IT sector afloat quite smartly today. In fact, one of the top sectoral gainers today was Nifty IT, ending the day with a 1.7% uptick coming in. Now, you had a note coming in from Motilal Oswal where they have upgraded the ratings of some of the stocks, but have gone ahead and largely hiked the target prices of most of the stocks under their coverage. For IT, for Coforge, they've upgraded to a buy from neutral, hiked the target price to 8,100. TCS, they've hiked the target price to 5,400. Infosys continue to maintain a buy, but hiked the target price to 2,200. HCL Tech also, they've hiked prices, and the same for Tech Mahindra, LTI Mindtree, Emphasis, L&T Tech, Cyient, Zensa Tech, where they've maintained their rating but gone ahead and hiked the target price for all of these companies. They believe that IT could be on the cusp of recovery after ensuring a prolonged period of discretionary spending cuts, and the top picks that they like from this framework are HCL Tech, LTI Mindtree, as well as Persistent Systems. And lastly, they've also flagged off Coforge. They believe that Coforge can leverage synergies from Cigniti, while healthy growth in its executable order book bodes pretty well for its core business. So Coforge was also a stock that did brilliantly today, almost a 5% uptick on that stock just on an intraday basis. So that's the note that Motilal Oswal came out with on IT that kept the sector buoyant today pretty much all throughout the trading day.
In fact, that was a top sector on large cap as well as the mid cap space also. But the Nuvama stance on the IT space also remains bullish. According to Vibhor Singhal, who's the director for Nuvama International Institutional Equities, he's bullish on it, and listen to it, what else he had to say about the space and the growth roadmap.
The stance on the IT sector has been positive for the past 2 years. We've maintained that the demand environment remains quite strong, which is visible in the deal flow that we've seen over the past 2 years, despite the macro headwinds which the sector had witnessed. What was missing in the sector was the deal flow to revenue conversion, which of course had multiple points, two of them majorly being the new deals being awarded were delayed in execution, and the older deals which were there in the pipeline of the companies, the discretionary part of that was being put on hold. This was both these things were an outcome of the overall uncertainty in the macro environment in US. So from a near to medium term perspective, we believe that as we move closer to the interest rate cut scenario in US, this uncertainty is going to get removed. For a medium to long term, we've done a very extensive analysis of how the GenAI opportunity is going to play out for the Indian IT sector. And we believe it's going to be a mammoth opportunity for all the players in the domain. We've compared it to multiple technology disruptions which have happened before in the past. Every time there is a new technology, industry experts have called out the doomsday for the Indian IT and have written the obituary for for the Indian IT companies. But every time there's a new technology disruption, the Indian IT companies come out stronger from it with net incremental growth from using that opportunity itself.
All right, that's the word coming in from the experts on the IT space. But let's shift focus from IT to autos. And remember, today Nifty Auto has snapped its 6-day losing streak to finally end in the green. And after a dull few months of demand, Motown is also gearing up for a robust festive season. They're also seeing some green shoots in rural demand. So listen into two of the biggest players. We spoke to Maruti Suzuki and TVS Motor on the road ahead. Let's go across and listen
in terms of retail, it's going pretty okay, and we are trying to maintain a very healthy network stock across the country, and we feel with the festival time, the type of response which you are saying, be in terms of the Kerala first month, August, and even during the Ganesh Chaturthi also, which first day was Saturday, we saw a very good traction in terms of the deliveries. There was almost a 10% increase in the deliveries. So my take is this, that festival time we are going to see green shoots coming.
See, we have excellent range, and we are pretty confident that we will do better than the industry. And industry is also doing extremely well. If you look at the Vahan, the last 5 months, more than 12% growth. We have a very strong R&D team. So, as you know, customers are really agnostic about the technology. and we have every capability to deliver. So we will look at it appropriate, what is important to the customer. First time we are seeing rural slightly ahead of urban. It's a good news for all of us.
Okay, so clearly the players talking about the green shoots available, rural recovery, and of course the festive campaigns coming in. A lot of action coming in from the auto space. But then moving on, let's talk about Suzlon, which of course won the largest renewable energy order. We did caught up with the management today. Girish Tanti, who's the vice chairman of Suzlon Group Shares, talk about the outlook and outlook on the revenue and margins going ahead. He's also witnessing good order flow from the industrial groups. Let's listen in what exactly he had to say.
On an average, I think as we have kind of been on the historical reasons, both on the revenue side as well as margin side, we will remain broadly in line with our past performance. So we are seeing a good flow of orders from the industrial groups. And I think with the PSU coming in this way, now we have one more leg of growth from the size and scale on that ground. So I think from the demand point of view, I think it's a very robust demand that we are seeing in the industry.
Okay, word coming in from the management of Suzlon, but let's also bring on board my colleague Gaurav now, who's standing by with a list of all the buzzers in today's trade. Gaurav, take it away.
Well, yes. First, let's talk about Century Textile, because the company has acquired around 10 acres of land in a prime location in Mumbai, and this land has a booking potential and the approximate revenue of around 14,000 crore rupees. And on back of this, now this stock is up in trade today. Next, let's talk about ITI, because company has bagged an order worth 300 crore rupees for solar street light system in Bihar, and with this they will be installing around 1 lakh solar lights in Bihar, and that is why this stock is also up in trade today. Next, let's talk about Tata Power, because company has commenced its production of the solar cell in India's largest single location solar cell manufacturing plant, which is situated in Tamil Nadu, and as a reason we saw the stock is up more than 4%. Next, let's talk about Zaggle, because company has now entered into an agreement with HDFC Ergo General Life Insurance to provide Zaggle Propel reward platform. Now we have already seen Zaggle has signed many agreements before, and now this Propel actually contributes around 54% of total revenue, and as a result we saw this stock is also up in trade today. Lastly, let's also watch out for Sona BLW, because company has raised around 2,400 crore rupees via QIP. Company has allotted around 3.5 crore shares at a price of 690 rupees per share with this QIP, and after that we are seeing some rally in Sona BLW as well. So definitely watching out on all these stocks on the back of the news flow that we have received today.
Thanks very much, Gaurav, for all those stocks that were buzzing in the trade today. That's all in this edition of Your Trade. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more updates.